introducing brand new podcast series that goes beyond the business to explore the person beyond the leader. Every successful company has a story, and behind every story is a person whose decisions, ambitions, and challenges shape the future of the company. In this series, we sit down with the executives driving the iGaming industry to uncover the journeys that don't usually make the headlines. For our very first episode, we are joined by Dinos Stranomitis, the COO and co-founder of Altenar. We will explore the milestones that shaped his career, the realities of leading a global B2B business, the lessons learned along the way, and the person beyond the executive title. This is In CEO's Shoes. Let's begin. Hello everyone, I'm here joined today by Dinos Stranomitis, the co-founder and CEO at Altenar. Thank you so much, Dinos, for joining me today.
Gohar, good morning. Good morning to everyone. I'm happy to be here today. Indeed, I am one of the founders of Altenar. I have the position of COO. Exciting journey so far. So, Gohar, you have some questions, I understand, don't you?
Yes, of course. As we have started a new podcast episode series at the Gamblest, which is called In the CEO's Shoes. Dinos, obviously, you are the first target for this series, and I'm very excited to start this journey with you today. We will discuss some interesting stories about the leader, beyond the leader, the personality, not only professionally in iGaming industry, but also as a person. And I'm very excited to learn about your journey, both professionally and not.
Very happy to hear. The shoes of, let's say, a leader are not necessarily comfortable shoes. Somehow we managed to make the shoes. Anyway, Gohar, let me know what exactly you want to know about.
Wonderful. Let's jump to some interesting topics here. So my first question for you will be, as many of us already know, you've been in iGaming for decades. And what part of your personality has contributed most to your success?
Well, I'm an engineer by profession. I am a naval architect and marine engineer. I did not like what I studied. Very classic engineering, very classic approach. To be honest, always my hobby was about betting, about sports, about the teams. So I remember myself even in the early 90s that I had database about sports events, statistics, etc., etc. So getting to the iGaming, which happened around 2002, or even a bit earlier, was mainly the passion and my hobby. So really the motivation to get my hobby profession, something that I could live with, made me more or less to come to be in this industry and gave me the opportunity, say, to explore details in the level because I liked it. It was my hobby. So I never saw this as a job, to be honest. So that's my main approach. That's how I see it. I that's the best answer I can give, at least.
I'm sure that's the best answer you could give because when you combine both your hobby and your job in one place under one umbrella, that's very inspiring, actually. And I'm very impressed.
Well, it is what it is. But this is, yes, the hobby made me getting into that.
So, what motivates you today compared to when you first entered the industry?
Well, it has many years back, definitely different story. My entrance was about my hobby. My entrance was to make my life happy. Now it's different. Now, I feel that, especially Altenar is a big ship or maybe just a fleet of ships. And we're creating something bigger. So for me, it's simple that I want to continue creating And to be honest, the biggest driver I have in my mind is to continue doing the things in the right way and explore more and create something that is unique and bigger. So it's different approach, different game. Sometimes, I see people looking at me and say, that's impossible to go bigger, but I know that we have to do many, many things. So this motivation to continue inside me creating something bigger and something unique is what it drives me keep going. And actually, if you don't mind, I do believe that I have another 30 years to go.
During all these years, what's one leadership lesson you learned the hard way?
The more important element, in my opinion, for a leader is the attitude. And regardless what happens around you, it is very important you keep calm and keep going. You always have to make sure that, regardless of the situation, regardless of the difficulty, the attitude needs to be in the right manner, especially when you face difficulties, when you face unexpected things. Keep calm and go. It will always pay off. This is, in my opinion, if something I found the hard way, exactly that. Even one more, maybe hard way. Do not insist on a plan that does not work. Changing plan is fine, even if it has to happen every day. If it is every day for a number of years, something is wrong with the plan or with your mind. But don't hesitate to change the plan if the plan is not working.
I've got two advices today for my future career. Thank you so much.
I mean, you have to realize that the plan is not working, first of all. But that's another story.
Yeah, that's another story. So, have you ever made a business decision that was financially painful, but morally necessary?
Well, yes, but in reality, it is yes and no. I think I remember definitely that you can sacrifice profit if you think this will not be profitable or will not be okay for long-term approach. I think it depends on the business plan and the approach and the attitude again. I do feel that I want to be in this industry for another 30 years, as I said before. So I want to imagine myself how it will be in 30 years. And based on that, it's very easy not to run after money so easy. I remember when we started Altenar, it was 6 to 1 year young, that one potential customer came to me asking to get Altenar Sportsbook. And I remember telling him, Altenar is not good enough for your business plan. Of course, I lost that customer that time. This customer came back to me 4 years later and said, Dinos, are you ready now? And I told him, yes. I think I made, let's be honest, much more money from this person than if I have to do the opposite. So it's all about how you approach the business plan. And if you ask me, it's better you see this long term than short term.
Excellent story. Is there one belief that you have changed your mind about over the past, let's say, 10 years?
That's a difficult question. Belief is something that is not so easy to change because you believe on that. However, by the years, in my opinion, people keep changing and keep changing and keep changing. One of the biggest probably belief that you learn as an engineer from university is that everything has to be perfect and has to work perfect. That's the engineering approach. When you're getting into the business, you can easily, and trust me, if you ask any technical person, what comes to your mind is their approach to perfection as a holistic religion. After some years, I realized that it does not have to be perfect to work very well. Perfection is an illusion, and it gives you more emotional distraction than, let's say, benefit. If you accept imperfection, it's probably you move forward faster and you gain much more benefit at the end. You cannot have everything perfect. And this probably had changed inside me all these years, remembering myself how it was when I started.
The long story short, it's nothing is perfect, right?
Well, nothing is perfect, but if it works to some percentage, it's totally fine. It's totally fine.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, if everything works perfect, you are not necessary. If you create a system that is perfect, you are not necessary to run it. Let it run and go, which of course is not a problem at all. Happy to run it, to let it run. But, we are useful in life because nothing is perfect.
But outside of business, what challenges or passion has shaped you most as a person?
Outside of business, Gohar, my life is very predictable. I have to say maybe the most important thing I did in my life is my children. And of course, I have my wife almost now 25 years. Sometimes I'm joking about it, So I remember myself in this business, which I explained is a mixture of hobby and job. So I have my business, I have my family. That's more or less simple things. Now, what in personal life you can say, I try the last 5-6 years and I try to enter into a cooking challenge. I want to cook myself for my family, for my friends, if possible, and this is an interesting exploration. Many people would not believe it, but I'm not watching football, I'm not watching basketball, I'm not watching sports anymore. I prefer to cook. Instead, I prefer to get into that challenge. It helps me probably not to think about my job when I'm cooking. And this is a nice feeling. So this is a challenge I'm getting through now. And well, I will not be a master chef, more likely not, because I'm not paying attention in those details. But this is something that helps me a bit.
I was about to ask any recipes.
There are recipes. I really like the slow cooked beef with onions, wine, and sometimes I even tried to make it slow cook for the night before. It is interesting approach, and I have done it a couple of times, and I have to always improve next time. So I'm also trying variations on cooking. It helps because I advise some videos from master chefs. I always try to put myself some variations that I like.
A family is happy when father knows how to cook, actually.
I hope so. At least it's exciting. I have my daughters that they are happy to join the barbecue at least.
Yes, because we at our family we also have a day when we do barbecues, my father especially, and that's a day when we all gather, and it's very exciting actually. For a family, when father knows how to cook something, it's not necessary to be something prominent or too good. Just he is there and he's cooking. That's great.
Well, usually we, the men, we believe that we're cooking very well in barbecue. That's not necessarily truth. But let us believe that.
Right. If you could have a private dinner with any leader, past or present, who would it be and why?
Wow. Okay. That's a question. A private dinner with anyone. Well, many people. Many people. I have enjoyed. Well, I have enjoyed dinners with too many people in the industry already, and I need to be careful not if I don't mention someone. But if I have to mention someone, very interesting discussions in a dinner I had with Uri Poljavits. Amazing person. He has a vision. Uh, Definitely a great time to talk to him. Well, when you say this, many people most thinking a politician. Difficult to say, but thinking a bit, you know, if I had to choose a politician that I would like to discuss, and he gives me his opinions about how he approached things, that was Mahatma Gandhi. What the reason is that is a soft power, and how he managed to win certain things during his, let's say, life as a politician is admiring. So, as a soft power, I would definitely wanted to have a discussion with Mahatma Gandhi. Then I saw, okay, it's a soft power, but what if I wanted to have a discussion with someone that is a lightning speed strike? Because in life, we need to be a soft power and slow, but at the same time, if we see the opportunity, we have to strike fast. Since I am from Greece, I would definitely go for Alexander the Great. He conquered half of the world that time, at least in 8 years, by just being fast and acting like a lightning power.
Now let's speak about a little bit about your team actually. What is something your team would say about you the most people in the industry don't know?
It's not so easy for me, but I have seen from time to time, I remember that some of my people say that I have not changed. It is not true. I have changed, but why they say this? They say this because probably success in the business have not changed my attitude to normal people. And this is something that, it's more easy to handle the failure. It's more difficult to handle success. And then when you have something successful, the attitude you getting, it should not be in the arrogant side. Hope, by saying that you have not changed, they mean that. So hopefully this means that I'm still modest, I'm still feel that I have not achieved something, I keep trying. I think this is more or less what actually I heard. Now, other than that, many messages coming my way, but probably this is the most important.
I think I should emphasize here the modesty and the openness because I can remember during our last meet, you were so open, not taking into account that we were seeing each other for the first time and having something dialect together. Your openness was what caught my attention really, and I appreciate so much because when you are in the younger generation in iGaming and you are having something in common with the older generation, you can feel the difference. But thank you so much for your openness and for being simple and modest with the younger one.
I'm surprised, but thank you so much. I mean, anyway, it is what it is. Sometimes, too much modesty is not good either. So don't overestimate everything.
I would like to also jump a little bit to the topic of iGaming and overall gambling industry from the regulation side, if you don't mind. As you have a big experience here, I'm sure you will have the knowledge here for the audience. What challenges do you think the industry is underestimating right now compared to maybe a decade ago?
You know what I see in this industry mainly? This industry is still immature, still moving on, still under shaping, not yet 100%. No, it's not a concrete industry. Usually, when something is in shape, in an early phases of getting a face, usually it lacks some quality. Probably the main challenge of this industry. They underestimate the quality. And if I have to say the quality of the product is the prime concern of the industry, as every business, to make money, but without getting in account that quality in a number of years, it will make, if you provide, it will make more money. So this is for me something that I would say, everyone say, step back, have a look in the quality, have a look in the product, have a look of what you have a look even on the quality of how you approach the things. You know, it will be definitely a different thing. We will have much better life, even, and in my opinion, if you ask me, even more money, if we manage to get the quality in place. That's at least I think, and I'm debating this in the industry in general. Many people say, okay, give me something up and running and don't care. No, it has to be. It has to be up and running, something with quality, not anything.
Yeah, exactly. Do you think iGaming industry has become too risky compared to, again, a decade ago?
Shall I tell you, my previous profession as a naval architect, when I had to visit and inspect a ship, I had a 3,000 page specification that everything was described to every detail, and I had next to me Lloyd's Register representative. I was not even allowed to talk before he talks. Now, from that industry that everything is settled, everything has a standard to the level of the millimeter. Now, I moved to an industry that were no standards at all. No standards at all. It's like the Far West. You're going there, you find gold, it's yours. From that appetite in the beginning of 2000, it comes more and more standardized. It's regulated more and more, is on the way. As I said before, it's shaping. And of course, the approach in the beginning that whatever you find is yours and that's it. Now, if you want to keep the same approach, you have to take risk. So the industry is becoming, if you ask me, less risky, more regulated, more proper companies avoiding risk more and more. You're still getting the risk that is calculated properly. You're still getting the risk that does not burn you, because there are still many countries without any regulation that you can still work a bit, you know, but the more you're moving to regulation, the less risky it becomes. So it's a journey and it's evolving over time. And you have just to understand year by year and country by country how you move yourself without having a problem, without getting over risk, without losing opportunities.
Stricter regulations, safer for everyone, as I understand. But do regulators truly understand the products and technologies they are regulating?
Regulators are usually politicians, or they come from that environment. It is unfair to say that they don't understand. If I just say regulators don't understand, I will be very unfair. They understand their problems. Their problem is mainly how I can protect the people. Do they succeed on that? Not always. Not always. Why not? Maybe they don't understand details. Now, do we want them to understand everything? Yes and no. You know, it depends, of course, also from country to country, from region to region. how they're thinking, and what should be the protection. But what I think it's important, the regulator has to think a little bit how to protect the people from, because in this industry, let's be honest, this industry, it's all about how much you spend to get the entertainment. And if you spend the money you can afford to get the entertainment, is everything fine. The moment you overspend, depends on your income. This is where the problem is. Does the regulator think about it? In some countries, yes. In some countries, not necessarily. Not necessarily. This is it. There are ways to protect the people. Yes, there are ways. Is it the same everywhere? No, it's not. So, just to, again, to go to the point of your question and answer, it is unfair to say that regulators don't understand, but it's fair to say that they do not succeed all the time.
So regulators are here to protect not only players, but also the operators, B2B providers, every figure in a gaming industry. Some operators now argue that overregulation drives players towards the black market. Do you agree?
When you find the same product at a cheaper price, you will get it. You know, it has to be a benefit for everyone. That's what I think. Unfortunately, also because there are politics in the regulation as well, sometimes regulators advise only the top people in the industry, and these top people's specific segment, maybe they have certain interests. And this is what happens. So, in general, if you are very strict with what you can offer, or if a regulator is very strict what an operator can offer to the user, and the user will not enjoy the full entertaining process, then more likely will go to get the same product elsewhere cheaper. It happens. Hopefully by the years it will be reduced. Hopefully, everyone will understand that it's much more benefit, everything to be transparent and legal. It's a process. We're getting there. It will be some more years, Like now, you cannot get alcohol illegal, or I hope, in most of the countries of the world.
When it comes to regulatory changes and like major policies, regulators consult the industry enough before introducing those changes?
They have a good motivation to consult enough and everyone, but it's not possible even. Probably they remain in the top performance, in the top operators. Sometimes it depends how the politicians see who is important, who is not important, But it's up to us in the industry to promote ourselves and educate the regulator. So I don't want, to convert this interview into against regulators. They are people that they trying their best. They have also certain situations that they cannot act the way they like.
One last question about the regulatory. If you had the attention as a well-established brand and company as Altenar, what would you have to say to regulators, operators, and suppliers?
Interesting. I say, if I have to speak to regulator, I think the most important is to protect the users, the people. That's their job. That's their job. It's not, believe it or not, in my opinion, is not their job mainly to collect money on behalf of the government. No, it's not that. Unfortunately, some of them, they're acting like that, but their main concern should be to protect the people from gambling, to educate and make sure that the operators, they take seriously responsible gambling. There are technical ways. It's not important maybe to mention now. If someone wants, I'm very happy to talk about it, but that's what I think. When it comes to the operator, I think the more important element for an operator is how to promote the brand in the most effective way. So if something they have to optimize their marketing and how the traffic ends up in their brand. The game on the operator is in that level. And if you ask me about supplier, because we, as Altenar, we are a supplier, I would say that for a supplier, the more important is the quality of the product that they offer. That's my advice, simple. The three elements, at least in this industry, simple as that. Regulator, protect the people. Operator, make sure you bring the traffic, otherwise you will not survive. Find modern ways of marketing, and for suppliers, make sure you offer a quality product that will help your customers flourish.
Looking ahead to 2026, the end of the year, let's say the beginning of 2027, even the 2027, what vision do you have here for iGaming industry overall? Any predictions?
Now we are in a post-COVID era.
Yeah.
The years of the lockdown, the years of COVID past, I think those years were very, they delivered a growth. People stayed home. They found very easy online access to casino, to sports betting, at least the moment that the sports betting was available. And there was a significant growth. There is a bit of a stabilizing that growth now. We see the governments, they increase the tax in many countries. And this makes difficulty for operators, for suppliers, etc., etc. At the same time, we cannot ignore the geopolitical imbalance that we have, or turbulence. I'm not a politician. I want to avoid criticism for anything, but it's not a quiet world. It's not a peaceful world that we are living. If you combine all these points, no matter what, and not matter that people say that during a financially difficult period, gambling is growing, it's not growing as much as if people had plenty of money and not other problems to deal with. So we see a little bit of stabilization, and we hear news in the industry that many companies have problems. So if you ask me, the bet or the main point of all the industry in the coming years is resilience. If a company prove themselves resilient, stay here, being profitable with good quality, and manage to get this through, we will pass all this stabilization and we will enter in a different shape in a couple of years' time. My estimation is probably we need 4 or 5 years to get over that.
4 to 5 years, right?
I think so. Usually there is a cycle. Usually there is a cycle of life that in my mind is 4 to 5 years for a full cycle for something to happen. Of course, there is always probabilities this cycle to be less or more, but usually that's the cycle.
Thank you so much, Dinos, for this interesting talk. It was both very insightful and very heartfelt, especially when we spoke about your personality also, aside from the gaming and industry stuff. It was my pleasure to have you as a guest, as the first guest in our In the CEO's Shoes series, and hope to see you soon again.
Thank you very much, Gohar. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. It was a pleasure for me, and I'm here to talk with everyone if necessary. Thank you.
Thank you so much, and I'll see you all next week.